Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Can you remember 2008? Unless you're a senile old man who can't recognise your own feet, you probably should. Either that or you're 10 years old, which I admit could be a distinct possibility for a lot of you. But let's revisit that year anyway and take a look at what happened on the footballing front. The year got off to a great start for Newcastle when Mike Ashley sacked Sam Allardyce after about 20 minutes of walking through the door. Yeah, it's not like that one will come back to bite him on the arse in a couple of years. With Big Sam gone, the man who ended Titus Bramble's reign of terror, Ashley decided to bring back Kevin Keegan, club legend of the 90s sure, but the year was 2008, and for the previous 3 years he'd been working at a soccer circus. I guess he was tailor-made for the Newcastle job then. On the international front, former AC Milan, Juventus, Bayern Munich and Red Bull Salzburg manager Giovanni Trapattoni was given the Ireland job, and to be fair, qualified the country for the Euros. It would have been a World Cup if the linesman hadn't left his brain on the kitchen counter. I swear to God, if Nicholas Bendner handballs against us tomorrow, I'm going to give up on life. Lad, you're in your 20s and you're a YouTuber. I think you already have. But Trap's brand of caveman football made even the Late Late Toy Show look entertaining. Tottenham won the League Cup, and I know what you're thinking. Big who cares? Considering it's a competition whose credibility went out the window the minute they started changing its name every 6 minutes. Well, evidently the Spurs lads did, considering Robbie Keane nearly channeled Halle Berry's Oscar speech in the post-match interview. After all, I'm sure it was his dream to win a Mickey Mouse Cup with Pascal Jimbonda. He had a lot of dreams, alright. Arsenal suffered their annual meltdown, top of the table in February, and then they chucked away a lead at Birmingham City in a game where Eduardo's leg turned into city string after a tackle from Martin Taylor, a lad who looked better suited to be telling students not to wear trainers into back-alley nightclubs. Nowadays, if Man City turned up and won at Old Trafford, you wouldn't bat an eyelid, especially if Victor Lindelof sneaks onto the fucking pitch. But back in 2008, City were employing the likes of Darius Vassell, Sun Ji-hai and Stephen Ireland, and whatever his dead grandmother's got special discount tickets. But on the 50th anniversary of the Munich disaster, Benjani scored the winner, the lad who almost never signed for the club because he fell asleep at the airport. He might as well have stayed asleep for all the fucking news he was. A quick word on Derby County, the football team, who set the lowest points total in the Premier League with 11 points, with Paul Jewell looking closer to a nervous breakdown with every passing week. As if the team's shambolic defending wasn't enough, honestly you could stick me in that defence and I'd still be terrible. As if their team's shambolic defending wasn't enough to make the fans fetch up their Sunday dinners, a sex tape of the Lancashire stud was found with him and a young one who wasn't his wife. Oh well, at least there was one member of the club staff who was able to score away from home. If you need anyone to blame or thank for England's failure at Euro 2016, point the finger squarely at Joe Hart. It's not really revelation, you probably already were, but hear me out on this one. At half-time, Man City were 2-0 up against Fulham, and the Collegers were mathematically relegated. If Hart hadn't conceded 3 goals in the final 20 minutes, Fulham wouldn't have pulled off the great escape. Roy Hodgson would have gone back to the nursing home or wherever he potted out from, and Harry Redknapp would have probably gone to Euro 2016, and you could be damn sure he wouldn't have put Harry Kane on corners. Speaking of Redknapp, remember when he thought financial stability and started chucking money around as if he'd won the lotto? Obviously, Portsmouth have since crashed and burnt. You could have seen that coming from the moon, but they'll always have the memories of that FA Cup win in 2008 when they beat the mighty Cardiff, a team who started with a decrepit-looking Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who was probably screaming, "Just let me retire," before Canu fought off rigor mortis to score the winner. I'm no Manchester United fan, unlike 90% of the population of Ireland, but thank Christ John Terry missed that penalty in Moscow. I don't think I could have lived in a world where Toad from Toad Hall became a Champions League winning manager. It would have been like trying to explain how Nathan Dyer won the league, or why Paul McShane still gets paid to play football. It's just one of life's unsolvable mysteries. But Terry did slip. Why was the centre half taking a penalty over 2 forwards? And he no doubt went home to be consoled by his wife. And then Wayne Bridges' wife, if there was time. Joey Barton ended up in jail for 6 months after battering some kid outside McDonald's. This isn't really news. I mean, he's probably doing it right now. Pep Guardiola was appointed Barcelona manager and quickly got rid of Deco and the poster boy of the new camp, Ronaldinho. In fairness, the Brazilian had all the skill in the world, but had spent the previous 6 months down the local kebab shop. So Manchester United obviously won the Premier League, but let's take a look at how the other teams did in Europe. Inter Milan won Serie A, 13 points clear of Juventus. Last season they finished 29 behind them. Lads. Lyon won the French league again, but where's PSG? Oh, that's right, 15th. Yeah, I guess that's what happens before the oil money comes in. Bayern won the Bundesliga, no surprises there. Celtic won again in Scotland, although this was back before Rangers received a bullet between the eyes. And I'm not talking about Joey Barton's arrival. Oh, and Real Madrid won the Liga. Alright, fair warning before the World Cup. Whenever an international tournament comes around, there's always that one player who gets linked with everyone and then doesn't lift a finger for the rest of their careers. Well, Andrei Arshavin was 2008's Milan Baros. New managers were appointed, but I'll never understand why the Blackburn owners decided to fill their Mark Hughes-shaped hole with Paul Ince, former Macclesfield and MK Dons boss. He lasted 17 games, won 3 of them, and here's a brief look into his managerial nous. Spain won the Euros, the first of 3 international tournaments, where Piqué and Ramos had to pretend they didn't despise the absolute out of each other. Fernando Torres bagged the winner against Germany in the final. This was back before Chelsea turned him into the Spanish Kesman. Player of the tournament was Marco Senna, a Brazilian who hadn't stepped foot in Spain until the age of 26, but yeah, let's just let him play for Spain. Yeah, that makes sense. Did Robinho have a clue about Manchester City's history? What history? Or who or what a Richard Dunn was? Probably not, but the man did like cash, clothes and watches the size of his head. If that meant he had to make it through a season or 2 with the rise of Vassell as his teammate, then so be it. I don't know why I'm taking so many digs at Vassell today. I'm sure he's a nice guy, he's just a bit of a shit footballer. Sheikh Mansour emptied his wallet into the club on deadline day. But then again, this was a team who'd just been thrashed 8-1 by Middlesbrough. They were going to have to work through the Wayne bridges first. The fans were obviously delighted. When they woke up on deadline day, they'd have been delighted signing Brian McBride. Now they were pinching Robinho from underneath Chelsea's nose. Stoke City's Liam Lawrence missed the Premier League game because he tripped over his dog. Good lad, Liam. Roy Delap proved that he was better at throw-ins than he was with the ball at his actual feet. While Keegan stormed out of Newcastle after the club turned down Luka Modric, Bastian Schweinsteiger, and instead fetched him Cisco and some lad off YouTube. The fans protested at Ashley, and the club began to get linked with a host of unproven managers. Gus Poyet, Alan Shearer and Paul Ince, the man who wrote shoot on his notepad, all turned down the job. And so Ashley turned to some fella he found out in the local pub in London. Joe Kinnear is who October was a month that concerned 2 kings. Ledley was called up for England duty despite having legs made of plasticine. Marlon kept scoring for high-flying Hull, 3rd in the league, and with the manager tipped for England. 2 months later, Marlon broke the nose of a 20-year-old female student and was convicted of sexual assault. Didn't really pan out for him, did it? Diego Maradona was appointed Argentina coach. He claimed Jonas Gutierrez was first name on the team sheet. I'm surprised he wasn't sectioned in the immediate aftermath of that comment. Phil Brown, what were you thinking? Cheers for watching, lads. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.